everyone, and welcome to another episode of Secure by Design, powered by Secnora. I'm your host, Daniel Kulig, and one of the biggest shifts uh, happening in cybersecurity today isn't really another ransomware campaign or another like zero-day vulnerability. It's really the rise of AI agents, and these systems are no longer just uh, answering questions or generating content, pretty much. Okay, and there are reviewing contracts, writing code, maybe approving some company invoices, interacting with the enterprise systems and increasingly making decisions on behalf of people. So the challenge is that while AI has changed dramatically, the way we measure security risk hasn't changed nearly as fast as we wish. Okay, and for years, security teams have relied on CVSS, the Common Vulnerability Scoring Systems. Okay, to understand and prioritize software vulnerabilities. But can a framework, you know, designed for very traditional software really capture the risks of autonomous AI agents? Uh, that's exactly what we are exploring today, and I couldn't think of a better guest for this discussion. And joining me is Ken Huang. Ken is one of the world's leading voices on AI security, AI governance, and genetic AI. Um, he he's the author of many books. I counted like 8 books. I mean, Ken, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Covering from generative AI, from AI security, agentic AI, Web3, AI leadership. And I think it was published by Springer, Cambridge University Press, Willie Pact, and China Machine Press. I mean, very impressive, Ken. And he's also the CEO and Chief AI Officer of Distributed Apps AI, an adjunct professor at the University of San Francisco, research fellow and co-chair and the Cloud Security Alliance. Wow, contributor of NIST Generative AI public working groups, one of the leaders behind the OWASP top 10 for LLM applications, and one of the driving forces behind AI VSS, the artificial intelligence vulnerability scoring system. So, I hope I didn't miss anything, Ken. So today's conversation isn't simply about new framework. It's about pretty much, whether the cybersecurity industry needs a, fundamentally different way of thinking about AI risk. So, Ken, welcome to Secure by Design. It's a great to have you with us. It's a great honor to have you with us.
Thank you, Daniel. Yeah, certainly. I'm looking forward for our conversation. Thanks for inviting me. Yeah.
It's our pleasure, totally. Okay, so let's move to the first question, Ken,
Mhm.
and let's really begin with the very much the foundation. Okay, so for the listeners who may not work with vulnerability scoring every day, I think we need to clarify a few things. So, what exactly is CVSS, and what problem was it originally designed to solve?
Yeah, so the common vulnerability scoring system is really trying to standardize a common vocabulary, a common scoring system for the vulnerability. So the vulnerability, it's mostly in traditional sense, is the software defect or misconfigurations. And 20 years ago, more than 20, I think 2005, it was established as a standard, right? Also, the federal government kind of push it a little bit as well. So the majority of uh, security vendors also support it. So it has been here for many, many years. Of course, there is, I think, a limitation of this. Then there is some of other new kind of initiative coming out,
Hmm.
uh, such as EPSS, more look at the exploit probability side of it, or SSVC, more from the stakeholder perspective. So there's some of new kind of initiatives along that to address some of the limitation along that. And also the AIVSS project that I think we are going to discuss
Hmm.
is also built upon on the CVSS foundations and carry some baggage, right? I think we will discuss all this, but yeah, in really very short definition, that's uh, what it is.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a very important place to begin because most, security professionals have used, the CVSS, throughout their, maybe entire careers, right? So it's become the, like a common language for, I would assume, prioritizing vulnerabilities across the industry. And in many instances, many ways, it's been remarkably successful, I would say. So, so the question is whether the technology we are protecting today still fits the original assumptions. The CVSS was originally built on. Um, and that leads us to the next part here. Ken, in your opinion, what makes AI agents fundamentally different to assess than traditional software?
Yeah,
Like which characteristics, like autonomy, maybe tool access, maybe the memory, the persistent memory, or deterministic behavior, change the risk, change the risk equation the most, I would say. So that's the
yeah, yeah.
question.
I think what you listed there is really good. Uh, what I would add is we have traditionally the compute environment or computing platform is a deterministic platform, right? Deterministic means if you run it multiple times with same conditions, same input, it will have the same output. Now
Hmm.
with the agent, it's a non-deterministic. With same input, it could be different, right? And this is really by design. It's not a bug. It's a feature because
Hmm.
the model is a stochastic model. It's everything based on the probabilities. Um, and this is really for the agent or the generative AI in general. Agent, you can think about a particular category of a generative AI. But it's generate the token to ask the agent to do the work. So eventually it's a generative AI, right? The key thing, it's really non-deterministic, right? And it's model based.
Hmm.
With model based, then it has the autonomy. It's a chance to do the work for you. Uh, just yesterday, OpenAI published a paper that their model, when trying to do the benchmark training, the particular benchmark is called the exploit gem. It's a chance to get into the hugging face and trying to look at the data set or the answer for the benchmark, and it was able to hack into the hugging face. So it has autonomy, right? If you do not uh, limit its autonomy. Let's say which tool you can use, which tool you cannot use.
Yeah.
It will try to do everything possible, right? Even though the model and the agent as well was in a sandbox, it was
Hmm.
able to penetrate the sandbox by finding the 0 day attack, right? Then getting to, and what you have, it's also tool use is really if you do not have blacklist or a whitelist or whatever, a lawless to have it. Even though you have sometimes it will forget also, right? So, but with the uh, blacklist or the whitelist, it at least limit its autonomy a little bit, right?
Yeah.
You have the blast radius, especially in multiple agent system. If one agent delegates the work to another agent, and that agent uh, can do something which is not really in the delegated intent. So they could misunderstand the intent and do something right else. And then you can have some novel attack is really the memory, right? Attack. If your memory is get poisoned, if your context is get compact, so some of security rule is compact out, or if your Go can be manipulated, it's called the Go manipulation. The idea of Go manipulation, it has three different type of Go manipulation, right? One is it's a chance to
Mm.
change your Go. Your Go is to harden the your Docker container. The hacker was able maybe to do indirect prompt injection to actually lose the security configuration, right? Or the goal is okay, you can do A as a goal, which is good. By the way, please do B for me by maybe send me the environment variable, right? And also the goal could be do this again and again, just what we call the deny of wallet. So you doing all the LLM APIs. So yeah, all this is really not measured in CVSS, right? So that's what. Uh, so the AI VSS project is really started more than a year ago with a cross-industry effort. Lots of people participate. So I think people is, certainly realize agent could change everything, including
Mhm.
our traditional way of measuring the vulnerabilities.
Right. Yes, absolutely. Well said, Ken. I mean, I think once you start thinking of an AI agent as something that can act rather than simply respond, uh, it's natural to ask whether our existing scoring models are still enough. you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, certainly the whole gaming changed, right? I think the industry agree with that. That's why we have so many people participate. Like
Hmm.
even the AI VSS project, it's most commented document.
Hmm.
From what I have, I participate in many OWASP projects. So the AI VSS has most people participate, has most people comment. So
Wow.
we have close to 4,000 comments in the previous two versions, right? So
So yeah,
even this,
so
yeah,
yeah, so it seems to be a significant, and impactful, step here. All right. So next, moving on. I want to ask you, where does CVSS begin to, break for AI agents? Can you actually walk us through an example where a moderate, CVSS score actually, hides what becomes a critical business risk, once AI autonomy is introduced?
yeah, I think maybe a simple example is like if there is a Python package or NPM package, which
Yep.
is low vulnerability, but it's still a vulnerability,
Mm.
and you use it in your agentic AI stack, right?
Yes.
And then the agent, which is driven by the model, and will do some work for you, but this vulnerability could be leveraged by the hacker, but using the indirect prompt injection or sometimes even direct prompt injection, then agent act upon it. So the idea of agent, it could be based on the language. So it has two layer, right? What do
Yeah.
we say? It's based on your natural language. That's what is called the comment and the control, right? You can comment on something, and the agent thinking it's the instruction will do the work, right? And then you can control it, right? And then yeah, a small like maybe medium like CVSS score, maybe you can say it's a score 7 or 6, could become a severity 9. So in the AIVSS we have called the agent implication factor. So if the agent has the tool use, has the memory use, has a lot of autonomy, those are the amplification. So even a small or low medium vulnerabilities can be high because of the agent is built on those, right? But if you limit the tool use or you limit some of the memory, it's not shared by the other people. You have the access control, you encrypt the memory, then you have the risk exposure. You may maintain the same CVSS score.
Okay. Yeah. So I really believe that, that's where this, becomes real for business leaders, I think, because, look at the vulnerability, and vulnerability isn't just about, technical severity anymore. I would say, it's more about, what the AI is trusted to do, So like when you uh, when you put it this way, like the more authority we give all these systems, you automatically get like more, context that matters, So and that's exactly, I believe that's exactly the thinking that led to AIVSS, and this is something that I'm very curious to, to talk to you about, because what is, AI VSS? How does it actually score? The whole AI risk, and also maybe to follow up on this, and how should, security teams think about it alongside the CVSS? To be frank.
Right. Yeah, so the OWASP AIVSS project is established with a very ambitious goal at the very beginning. It's
Hmm.
thinking you have traditional software system. Now the
Yeah.
AI, including generative AI, predictive AI, and now the agent AI, right? So what we should work on first. And the consensus is agent AI is certainly become the future. Like eventually, the majority of uh, business workflow will be agentic workflow,
Hmm.
and there's so few research on how can we measure the risk, and the risk is real, right? And even that time we saw some in 2020 year 2025, there is a whole bunch of CVE actually coming out with especially with MCP, right? Um, and then there's the OpenClaw, also all this coding agent. So CVE is already exists. So this give us some of the data points that we need do some research for measured, right? And that's why the team, it's a cross-industry team. I think we need to first look at what is the threat. Uh,
Hmm.
so we have the top 10. So we actually produce the top 10 items for Agent AI. Eventually, we donate it to another project, our sister project, as the top 10 items, right? And they make some of the refinement and uh, uh, change, but the majority of the work was done from the AI VSS project. Uh, and that is taxonomy. So what is already like people find us through academic research, or maybe also already happened. That's why we have the reference section for each uh, agentic AI top 10 items. And from there, we look at the CVSS. So CVSS has you have the base score, you have the SLAT or the tempo, and you have environment. And we look at the base score. I think is the best way to look at that.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then we say uh, what we can add on based on the base score because agentic AI is unique. Some unique thing we can um, add it. And the initial version we have is we just do a simple math. The CVS score plus the agentic AI like vulnerability score added together divided by two. That was not a really good defensible approach, right? So that's in the V0.5. Then in V0.8, we say we need the amplification. We basically we are not to reduce the CVSS base score
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
if you plus two, if a plus the both score divided by two, you could potentially lower the CVSS score. That is not good. Actually, Rob Joyce, who was the cybersecurity director from NSA and also the White House advisor on the cybersecurity, he pointed this to us. I think it's a good little catch, and he suggested that we should using the amplification factor or it amplify it. That was a good approach. Uh, so the most recent version is we maybe still need to consider the threat, the template, and also the environment. Some of the new development in the CVSS of the first community may help us, right? Uh,
Mhm.
so that's maybe one thing we are considering, and we're also trying to consider the stakeholder side of it, which is called the SSVC. So one caveat I do want to point out is the CISA has recently, about a month ago, uh, advised to stop use of CVSS as
Mm.
a single like determining factor for vulnerability management
Okay.
for
Mhm.
federal government. Although commercials they can still use it, right? So federal government they are not using CVS anymore. They're using SSVC,
Yep.
and we actually last year we already looking at the SSVC, right? So if you look at our release version through the first version 0.5, we mentioned SSVC 0.8. We also so we continue working on that with the
Got it.
people from CMU, from CERN, and other community as well. The some of the users, right? So we have not decided yet if we will get rid of CVSS or not. I think the current thinking is we still need a quantitative score based on CVSS. So AIVSS based on CVSS, we still need that. But we have to, for V1, we have to refine it and just purely look at the agentic score. Because somehow some of the CVSS like environment and tempo or threat uh, kind of matrix, including already we have discussed, right? So we do
Mhm.
not want to double count it, right? So that's I think the V1 we still have a lot of work to do to make it. So potentially we still have the quantitative score, and also we will have the qualitative framework. It's decision tree based.
Okay.
So we already have some. Yeah, yeah. I can share as a show note if you like. Welcome people to contribute.
Yeah.
It's yeah, kind of have a forward decision table based on really if the vulnerability already exists is why the exploited in the wild, right? So that is certainly is one of the decision, right? If you want to really monitor it or you really adjust immediately, right? So, so yeah, this is some work in we have, but for now the score is way it's a easy score. The problem with yeah, maybe we can discuss problem later, but yeah, if you
Yeah,
have a follow
sure.
up.
But yeah, yeah, Ken, this is massive. This is good. I mean, I'm keeping fingers crossed for the final decision on that. Yeah, and I really like the fact that this isn't, kind of, shown or presented as, throwing away everything we have learned over the last, 20 years or so. And it seems like it's really about, extending our, comprehension or thinking, so we can, evaluate the risks that simply didn't exist, when CVSS was created. So let's see how that works in practice. Okay. um, so now let's do some imagination here. And let's imagine an AI finance agent that, let's say, reviews some invoices, maybe agent that communicates with suppliers, and maybe, the one that can approve, payments, right? So, question for you, Ken. How would AI VSS evaluate that system directly from, the CVSS, and how does it fit alongside frameworks like the OWASP top 10 for LLM applications, and you have like Mitre Atlas and the NIST AI risk management framework, for example. So, what's your take on this?
Yeah, so there is all different framework. You mentioned NIST AI risk
Yeah.
management framework. This is a
Mhm.
really good framework. We complement it, right? So look at the NIST. It has the govern. Govern is basically you decide who is responsible for what, right? And then you have a security programming for it. And you have a RACI model. So that's the govern side. And
Mhm.
then you do the map. Map is you really map the your AI system to uh, the threat, potential risk, right? So we have the Maestro threat modeling. If I can talk about the Maestro, maybe not this time, it's too much. Maybe next time, it's the Cloud Security Alliance model now. I created, but
Mhm.
people use it. Many people use it now. So it's really the financial agent you have. We can using the Maestro framework using 7 layer to map like which layer has threat and also cross layer threat, and then using the AI VSS to measure it. So
Mhm.
you first map is what kind of threat it is, right? So then you do the measure. You use the AI VSS. Say this agent in this particular layer, what could potentially be the issue, right? Example like if you financial agent using a deep seek model,
Yep.
what could potentially be the threat? Is did you do any security alignment, right? Could it be jailbreak easily, right?
Yep.
So and also maybe in the uh, framework level, which framework you using? You using LangGraph or Clue AI? LangGraph, Clue AI, they are orchestration framework. They are not a security framework. So did you build any authentication, authorization along that, right? So this one, and also we have the agentic AI top 10. So the idea of agentic AI top 10 is just to say what is most people talking about. It's
Right.
to give a pause, like on the current, right? But it's not really can cover all the potential threat. So it's a work hand in hand with the maestro. So I see the company they work, they say, okay, OWASP top 10 is good, but that's not what we look at, right? We need use this as a reference, but we really need to using Maestro framework to pinpoint all this possibility, especially cross layer, right? And then we can using the AI VSS. So the idea of AI VSS is using CVSS V4. It has a matrix, right? Or what is the called the vector
Hmm.
score. So it really depends on if you have network access or if you have the uh, tool use, right, for us, right? And then it has different scoring for you, and you can plug in into its calculator. So we do have the calculator there, right? We plug it in, and then it gives you the score. Um, yeah, I would say that's the current approach. Yeah, so eventually you can manage it. Like if you look at the NIST framework, the final is really how do you manage it? You using the
Hmm.
red teaming, it help you actually. Given the score, it give you some idea. Like if the AIVS score is really high, right? Make sure you define it. You how do you make sure it is mitigated. You have to
Yes.
red teaming it, right? So that's why, like, I led the development of red teaming guide at the Cloud Security Alliance, and we published it last year as well. It's called the Cloud Security Alliance Agentic AI Red Teaming Guide. I publish it as a LinkedIn, and I have more than 760 people like it.
Oh
So that's
wow,
one of the most like I got for my
that is a
LinkedIn
lot. Yeah,
post. Yeah.
but that proves the interest in that. Okay, cool. I mean, I truly believe that this is probably the question many CISOs out there are asking today. Like nobody's looking for one solution or one framework that solves everything. I mean, come on. So if I were in their shoes, I would be trying to understand how these frameworks work together to help them make better security decisions at the end of the day. So and of course every new framework has you know to earn the industry's trust, I would kind of point out as well. Ken, I mean, every emerging standards or standard single attracts both kind of suppliers and critical mass, I would say. Um, you know, and also like supports the critics, I would say also, right?
Hmm.
Um, so my question is, what's the strongest criticism you have ever heard about, the AI VSS?
Yeah.
What still needs to happen before it becomes widely adopted? You know?
Right. Yeah. So there's a few I would say, right. One most important one is AIVSS score. We're using some of multiplication plus minus the arithmetic. The problem with the arithmetic is basically it's using as the interval number, right? Uh, and the score is really ordinal, meaning that if you have the score 10, certainly it's is more severe than 9. But what about the in between is 9.5 is same
Mm-hmm.
vulnerability as the severity as the 9. That's hard because you do the multiplication because the jump between 5 to 6 and 6 to 7 is not even. You cannot really justify it's even, right? So once you do the plus minus or multiplication, you think it's even, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, this is the problem with CVSS, right? And we carry this bad kind of baggage with us, right? So so that's one of the issues that we have. Of course, currently we purposefully also slow down. That's also um, kind of uh, our decision, collectively through the leadership team, is we are not publishing on the V1 immediately. It's actually slow down the adoption. Once we market the V1, people were jumping on it. But the idea is we want to hear more people jumping in, give people still have the chance to contribute. So we call it V0.8. This time, when we publish it during the Black Hat,
Uh-huh.
it's it's more than 1 year and a half in the process. It's a long, yeah, it's very long process. But by the end of this year, I think it's almost 2 years will be
Mm.
in the process. So we will be able to publish V1, hopefully. If we still feel not comfortable, we are okay. We maybe just name it V.09. We still want to hear more, right? So we're not at the urgency to publish it, but this could slow down the adoption a little bit. But it's okay. We need more people to validate our framework than to have a wider adoption. People say it's not good, right? So that's a challenge, right?
Yeah.
So when you, yeah, it's uh yeah. Also, um, um, the another feedback we have is certainly the I mentioned it. It's the SSVC side, right? Because
Yes.
the federal is moving to SSVC, and we do need this. So we need to decide if we will completely get rid of the quantitative side, go AIVSS with the decision frameworks with the qualitative side, or we have maintain the both. The current idea is maintain both, right? Unless there's a very strong suggestion that we have to just using SSVC, then we will decide. So that's also kind of have no final decision yet. I would say.
Okay, okay. Absolutely, absolutely love your approach on this and your perspective. Okay, and finally here, let's do some look ahead. Look at the future for a second. And so, for example, if we like fast forward to let's say 2030, so like 4 years from now, what do you think we will realize if we like what would we like realize if we were in the future, like 4 years from now, do you think we could realize that we underestimated something here, about the AI security back in like 2026, like we are here? What's that underestimation for you, if you
Yeah, I
realize
think the
smart to 4 years from now,
right,
smarter?
right. Yeah. So the first thing is agent is here. Agent AI economy is here, especially by coding agent, the browser agent,
Okay.
customer service agent. Right. It's already real. Right. Uh, Coding agent is more like a general purpose agent now. People just
Hmm.
using Codex, Cloud Code to do all sorts of work. So agent is here. The vulnerability is here as well. Um, and the current focus is still the AI safety. It's
Hmm.
overhyped. It's
Right.
always doomsday serial, like it can kill the humanity. I think we're still kind of far away. It's more serious is really the cybersecurity side of it. I think it's still underhyped still now. Like you look at I just mentioned at the very beginning, it's also a cyber security incident. It's not a safety incident,
Yep.
right? The OpenAI, when it's a training, benchmarking, the 5.6 SOL model is trying to break through the container, the sandbox, and get to the Hugging Face successfully. This is a cybersecurity incident, right? And the Hugging Face is trying to investigate and trying
Mhm.
to using SOL 5.6 from
Mhm.
the chat GPT, trying to
Yeah.
investigate it and get it denied because the model thinking it's trying to hack into it, right? So it's when it's trying to offensive security from model itself, it has no guardrail. I said, put a guardrail. Now, when you ask it to investigate it, they will put a guardrail. So same with Fable 5. I don't know if you're using Fable 5, but I use Fable 5. Always it's say, now I have to switch you to 4.8 because I also do some security research, right? Trying to tune my
Yes, it depends
own
on
little.
the aim, like
Yeah,
what you're
I
trying
try
to
to
do.
train my own little model
Hmm.
to cybersecurity defense, even not as offensive, right? It's
Hmm.
still cannot do it. So it's a go back, right? So yeah, in 2030, I would say your uh, majority of traffic, I think, will be agent AI traffics. like
Yes.
yeah, the you have the some of the standard coming out. Actually, some of standard also I participate, right? Kind of working on it. Some of the payment protocol agent naming service that I wrote the paper last year. Now it's a Linux Foundations project, the agent naming service. How do you securely find another agent to see it's actually a trustable agent? So we're trying to build a trust score, right? In it.
Yeah.
So there's so many work still need to be done, and also we need to look at how can you validate independently the contour is good.
Yes.
Like you use cryptographic primitives to
Uh-huh.
validate some of the contour. So that's why I work with the Advanced AI Society. So we have many organizations also participating into it, and we will publish our initial um approach document in Black Hat. So what I will do at the Black Hat, one is really publish this uh, kind of a position paper on the what we call open verification. We need to verify the agent is doing what it is supposed to do, right? So some of the primitives that we can establish. And another one is like a skill is really widely used. People just using the agent skill. Like it's easy for you to create a skill now. Everyone created their own skill. What about security? Also, people using other people's skill. That's why we have the top 10 skill risks as an OWASP project that we are going to also publish during the Black Hat. Yeah, but looking ahead to 2030, the future is bright. We just need to make sure the security is taken care of.
Yeah, future is bright, and I back you up on this 100%. And I appreciate the perspective because I believe the best standards aren't built in isolation. They change, they evolve through specific challenge, like public debate or whatever, and practical experiences. So the same thing, like CVSS didn't just become industry standard like overnight. It doesn't happen that. And I tend to suspect that AI security kind of will follow a similar journey as well. So that's
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
my
yeah,
put on the brightness of the future. You know.
yeah. I agree. Although the some of standard like adoption and development is slow, it's
Uh-huh.
by purpose, right? We can slow it down, but with agent AI innovation, we do need to speed up a little bit. So
Mhm.
there is some kind of potential in it.
Oh,
You can see it.
for sure, for sure. Great. Okay, Ken. I mean, thank you very much for joining us today on Secure by Design podcast. And it has been a privilege, to speak with someone who is not only studying the future of AI security, but actively helping, to define the frameworks and sharing the professional knowledge that may shape it, so to speak, right? So, for anyone listening, who is listening now and now looking at their own let's put it that way, agent developments maybe, and wondering where to begin. This is precisely the works we do at Secnora. Okay, and we are the Crest Aligned cybersecurity company and founding signatory of the Crest AI charter as well. So on the AI side, our work includes adversarial testing of large language models, agentic models, systems, and that could include prompt injection, tool abuse, agent authorization, boundaries, AI treat modeling, and readiness assessments aligned with different frameworks such as EU AI Act, for example, the NIST AI RMF that we talked about with Ken today, and Mire Atlas. So if any of that is on your roadmap and this is aligned with your works, we'd be happy to help. You can learn more on secnora.com. So Ken, thank you again for sharing your expertise and for the important work you are doing to help shape the future of AI security. Thank you and kudos to you.
Thank you, Daniel. Yeah, thanks, Secanola, for your contribution also to our OWASP project as well, and also the CSA's work. So thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Ken, and I hope to see you soon.
Yeah, hope to see you soon. Take care.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye bye.